Matt Diggs, who actually made it. I didn't think he was going to get here.
I was excited. I had to rush from all the football games to get here to talk about all the other football games that I did not see tonight.
Well, you saw more football than me, so I haven't seen any football.
I saw bad football.
So my dad this morning goes, "Hey, what game are we going to tonight?" I said, "Dad, I don't get to go to games anymore. I have to host 2 shows." Very sad. I miss going to games. I don't miss freezing, though. Because you can freeze.
I can. I was up in the press box. I press boxed it.
Yeah.
But the players had to freeze, and the players
It is cold outside today.
had to fight through it to make the playoffs. And here on the 5th quarter, we will talk about it all.
We will. We're going to have some very interesting things to talk about.
Did you see the fight between Cedar Hill and DeSoto to start?
No, I haven't got to watch any
You
football.
didn't get to watch the football?
I didn't even get to watch
It was
football
yesterday.
last night.
Well, so, apparently for the 3rd straight year, and our friend Ward, says he's tired of them fighting with each other.
I like fights, guys. Keep going.
But, they did their little dance off. They get in the 50-yard line. They're like, "What's up? What's up? What's up?" So,
you want to do that again for me?
except they were fighting back, and
They had a
apparently
dance.
you
They had a
weren't.
dance.
Yeah,
They had a dance fight.
it was like a dance fight.
Well, I need.
It was.
footage
It
of
wasn't.
this
It
dance
wasn't a
fight.
Rocky fight. It was more
You
like.
You made me think it was a fight. I got really excited.
It was a.
I thought we were playing
altercation.
hockey.
It kind of was like that. It was an altercation, the 3rd annual altercation before the Battle of Beltline.
It's just a dance off, okay? We're gonna keep it at what it is. We're not gonna make it sound like it's some big headline. It's a dance off.
It was an altercation, as reported by the Dallas Morning News.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Are you calling fake news?
Fake news.
Ashley's
Okay.
calling fake news.
Allegedly,
She
it was
she
an
does
altercation.
not like the media.
No,
She was telling me before all the media she doesn't like, but I can't share.
no,
with you.
we can only talk about that off camera.
Off camera.
But Cedar Hill and DeSoto played last night for the 7-6A district crown, and Cedar Hill pulled out a last-minute win over DeSoto.
And as crazy as the beginning was with the dance-off,
It was crazier at the end.
it was crazier at the end.
Yes, I got to put the punchline on that one. But Cedar Hill wins 28-27. Cedar Hill actually had less yards in this game.
Cedar
than
Hill got
DeSoto.
trucked pretty much for the entire game. I don't know how Cedar Hill won that game.
They had 229 total yards. It was funny because the actual thing that stood out to me most was besides DeSoto's 1 turnover, which must have been a pretty big turnover at that point in time. But Samari Collier had 3 touchdowns for the night. They didn't win.
304
3
yards.
touchdowns and 304 yards. But Caden Salter had 2 touchdown passes, 1 rushing touchdown, and Kevin Young had 1 rushing touchdown as well. Quinn Bright caught one of those passing touchdowns. I like to throw out Quinn Bright's name because he's a bright, shining star.
He follows me on Twitter. You know that?
Ooh, I like Quinn.
Hi, Quinn.
I met Quinn at Spring, and I liked Quinn a lot.
He's a good guy. We've talked. Last year, he was asking me like playoff scenarios and stuff. He's a student of the game, Mr. Bright.
Wow. Okay.
And if you didn't see this, I know you can go on the Twitter and you might see it on Inside High School Sports tomorrow night at 6:30.
Yes, sir. Good job.
But the way this game ended was effectively DeSoto had 2 seconds left, and the player got hurt, from what I understand. Because I wasn't there, I'm just going with the hearsay and the anecdotal evidence. The referee stopped the game. Cedar Hill had rushed the field because they thought they had won.
They thought they won.
I
do know this part.
Referees concur. They discuss. They decide to put 2 seconds on the clock. DeSoto goes for it, gets a touchdown, and then they decide to go for 2. And it's a widely debated move if you go for 2 in that situation. I liked it personally.
I mean,
Coach
they won the game.
They want the game. They want the Battle of Beltline. But it was a very badly designed play. It was one of the little flare routes. Like, let's say the goal line is over there.
The field goal.
The goal line is right there with all the bobbleheads, your bobblehead history. I throw it to you there. You got to get there. There's 5 people there tackling you.
Sorry,
Did not like the play
DeSoto's
call.
not going to like what I
Coach
say
Mathis,
at this point in time.
Tell us.
Kick the field goal.
What are you talking about?
They should have kicked
Extra
the field
point.
goal.
Oh, you think you should have gone for the extra point?
Should have gone for the extra
Go
point.
to overtime?
Kick the field goal. Yeah. Kick the field goal. Take
Field
it to
goal's not
overtime.
an extra point.
Kick the extra
Kick
point.
the extra point.
I guess that's the
Longview
difference between like a
Lobos,
free
Grandview Zebras.
kick and a penalty kick. Okay, whatever. We'll go with
You, I bet that matters to you. It's like saying
that.
a
Okay,
corner kick or
no. You know what grinds my gears
Tell me
is
what
when
grinds your
someone
gears.
says chip. So
like
if,
Chip and
I don't
Joanna
think he
Gaines?
watches, but the guy that I did soccer with last year, he wasn't a soccer person. He's a hockey person. And he said, "Oh, she chips the ball every time someone would cross the ball." And I was like, "No, it's a cross. Quit saying chip. It's a cross."
She's
Okay,
mad.
I'm not mad.
Why
Why
are
do
you
you
mad,
think
bro?
I'm so angry?
Why are you mad? You
I'm
tell
not
me.
an angry person.
You've got fire.
I mean, it's all the red that I've got on
It
today.
is. I don't know, like, but
I walked in and I was like in both of our. He walked in and I was in both of our chairs earlier.
she was, and just.
I told him he could hit the road. I'm kidding. I need Tiggs here.
But big game. It means nothing for playoffs. It means nothing for seeding.
I
However,
thought this was the
for the
Dodge
district
Duncanville game
championship.
though.
no, that was the South Grand Prairie.
Oh, okay,
South
that
Grand
was-
Prairie DeSoto last week was Dodge Duncanville, and DeSoto successfully dodged them. But South Grand Prairie did not, and South Grand Prairie will be traveling to Duncanville next week. You can see that also on Inside High School Sports, 6:30 p.m. Pat Doty.
He's got all the plugs.
Getting
I don't
good at
even
this.
need to plug anything anymore because Nat will do it for me. Thanks, Prof.
North Texas Honda dealers. Well,
Well,
love
good-
her.
I mean, you forgot give me the VIN. You want to keep going?
Give
And
me
you
the VIN.
And you forgot
Do we have
Wingstop.
bobbleheads?
They've got give me the VIN's bobbleheads now.
I
And
like that.
Wingstop is our title sponsor.
I like Wingstop. I don't like Wingstop. But for the
What?
purposes...
You can't say that!
I don't like chicken. No chicken. I don't eat chicken. Wingstop has nothing but chicken. So
How do you not like
I
chicken?
don't like chicken. Just don't. Zero chicken. Not chicken fajitas. Not chicken wings. Not grilled chicken breast. Not fried chicken. Not Popeye's chicken. Not
chicken
Chick-fil-A.
nuggets?
Not chicken nuggets. No chicken.
What do you like?
Hamburgers, steak, stuff like that.
So only red meat.
Red meat and
Do you
pork. Like pork.
I don't think I've ever. So my sister. Okay, sorry, we're getting off topic real quick. So my sister-in-law doesn't like anything with bones in it. Is that kind of how you are? Do
Similar.
you do like steak and ribs and?
The easy way to say
We're
what
so
I
off
eat
topic
and
right
don't
now.
like, I know. But they want to hear this because they don't care about all those playoff games. They care about this. But basically, if it comes from the animal that it comes from, I won't eat it. Turkey, nope. Lamb, nope. Fish, nope. Not at all. But I will go to Mary's Cafe at Strawn for some chicken fried steak.
So
And-
I'm so confused.
Why don't you take us to our next game, and that might help you unravel your confusion.
Okay, well, what is our next game, Digsy?
You got it up.
Oh, we have it up. It's Flower Mound Marcus versus Louisville. The Fighting Farmers and the Marauders go in for the Battle of the Axe, and the Marauders take the axe.
Marcus is like
Home.
the overtime kings.
I'm loving it.
All they do is-
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And I know because you and I are becoming friends, we're developing our on-camera relationship. I know you like big numbers.
I do like
And
big
there's
numbers.
a
and
really
this is some
big number in
numbers.
this game.
Marcus's total yards for the night was 629 yards.
600.
I love it.
It's
I
like
love it.
Absolutely huge. And Will Garrett, has Nussmeier won a bobblehead yet?
Not yet, but he is up for some postseason action.
And I think he will be nominated on the Give Me the Vin bobblehead of the week because
No,
he had
Give me the VIN, MVPs,
Give Me the
player awards. We're going into postseason player awards.
Vin. How about Garrett Nussmeier? How about 457 yards, 5 touchdowns?
Garrett Nussmeier.
That's how many quarters this show
He might
is.
have won this week's bobblehead with numbers like that.
I know. That's what I was saying. But it's not like Louisville had a bad week. How about Talon Green? 3 touchdowns, 258 yards.
That's
very
not 5
efficiency.
touchdowns, though.
It's not.
5.
It's not. And how about Tyson Edwards for Marcus, 156 yards rushing? And for me, and it's incredible because Marcus lost the turnover battle by 2. I mean, the fact that they yet again found a way to win this game. And I'm confused about Flower Mound Marcus because this is a team that had an incredible district run, but they barely beat McKinney Boyd. They lost to Arlington Bowie by 2 touchdowns in non-district. What team is Flower Mound Marcus? Which Jekyll or Hyde are they?
They are the second half team.
They are a second half team.
I mean, it's better. Okay, so I like the baseball analogy here.
Tell me a baseball analogy.
The baseball analogy is as long as you're hot in October, you're good to go. Because the teams that are hot in October win the World Series.
But in football, we have a little saying that says teams to remember play in December.
See? So that means you got to be a second half team.
Got to be a second half team, and I think.
So I don't care. That's like Richland. I don't care what you did in preseason. If you go 5-1 and put in district, I'm okay with it. Granted, as long as you have a winning season.
But speaking of Richland, Richland did not have the end to their fantasy season that they were hoping for. Euless Trinity, the mighty Trojans, have peaked at playoff time, and they defeated Richland 56-7. And this was a game where they scored the 56 points in the first 3 quarters. It was basically garbage time in the fourth quarter, and Richland had 5 turnovers. Count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As many touchdowns as Garrett Nussmeyer had, as many quarters as we have right here. And I was not fazed by this score.
Okay.
I was not fazed by this result, but I was fazed by how bad it was. If we would have come on here and said, yes, Trinity won 31-7, okay, I can believe that.
Okay.
I'm good with that. But 56-7.
I would have thought with how Richland handled
Did you
their
get a
other opponents.
text message? Is that important?
It was important.
What did they tell the fifth quarter about?
It was from my father.
Okay.
Asking me to to make a video for him for Tiopa. None of y'all know what Tiopa is, and I'm going to leave it at that because I'm not going to explain it. But
she proved her point. I was wrong.
It was important.
It was important.
Everything's important. Yes. Anywho, I would have thought with how Richland handled teams like Haltom, like Weatherford, like San Angelo, those teams, that this game would have been better.
Yeah. And Richland was just completely outclassed, outmatched, outcoached in all facets of the game. Give credit to Trinity, and we'll just kind of segue in a few other things. Big scores of note, because I know you haven't checked. Who do you think won between San Angelo Central and Haltom?
San Angelo Central won.
They did.
Over Haltom.
San
It was
Angelo Central.
34-31.
You cheated.
I looked.
You looked.
You didn't see me scanning?
She was doing research.
I was scanning. I was sitting here
hoping,
waiting for you.
I was hoping to play a game. Like
Okay,
who
we're going to
won?
play a game? Let's go.
Like who won, LD Bell or Weatherford?
Weatherford, obviously.
Obviously, it was a much closer game than people thought.
I don't need to even look at that score.
So that means our District 3-6A, and this was one of the districts that we did not know what was going to go on. We got Trinity, Richland, San Angelo Central, and Weatherford. Top 4 teams.
Go Kangaroos!
So Kangaroos your favorite team out of that pairing?
I live out towards Weatherford, so
You're gonna go.
My dad did go to Trinity, though.
And your brother played for Aledo.
My brother played for Aledo, and
I know that. And she played for TCU.
Thank you.
Hey!
Woohoo! Go Frogs! Beat Baylor!
Woo! Go Baylor.
It still stinks to be you.
Ah, that's funny. I've never heard that line before.
We say it a little bit different, but I can't say that on air.
It's okay.
My mother would slap me.
Really?
Oh, I'm not allowed to say certain things. Like, certain things are cuss words to my family, even though they're not real cuss words.
In District 4-6A, all of the action was last night, and you can see that on Wingstop Inside High School Sports tomorrow at 6:30. One of the games of the week was Arlington Lamar against Arlington High. Arlington Lamar won 34-33. I went to the other game last night. I went to Arlington Martin against Arlington Bowie.
And Arlington Martin pulled out the district championship.
They did. Arlington Martin, again, with another special teams performance for the ages. And I just question, in the playoffs, can you rely on getting 2 or 3 special teams touchdowns every single game? Because it seems like that's what they do. It's like every week we come on here and we look at their stats and we're like, wow, they won 50-0 and only had 150 yards. But 3 kickoff returns.
I think maybe the first 2, maybe 3 rounds you can rely on your special teams or your defense to do that. But when you start,
Duncanville in round 3.
Oh, your first 2 rounds.
There you go.
Your first 2 rounds. But when you hit Duncanville, that's
it.
a whole different animal, guys.
It is. Well, it's a panther.
Meow.
There we go. Warrior. But that game against Arlington Lamar and Arlington High, fun highlights. Hope you check it out tomorrow on Wingstop Inside High School Sports. Trayvon West caught a beautiful pass with 15 seconds left in the game to give them the 34-33 lead, and that was after Chris Sims broke a 39-yard quarterback
Chris
draw.
Sims guy.
And I'm still not seeing Jahari Rogers at quarterback.
Because they have Chris Sims there.
Chris Sims is a good cat, but I want to see some Jahari Rogers in the playoffs. I need to mix it up.
Did they make the playoffs?
They did make the playoffs.
Good job, Colts.
So if you want to know our District 3 versus 4 pairings, I will share with you right now. We're going to have Euless Trinity and poor Arlington Lamar. I think they got the not too good of the draw there. We're going to see Arlington Lamar against Euless Trinity. Richland is going to take on Arlington, which I don't think that's a good draw for Richland. We're going to see San Angelo Central against Arlington Martin, and we're going to see Arlington Bowie against Weatherford.
So, it says on here,
Take
Diggs
that.
and Ashlea talk about some juicy playoff matchups as Hebron and Geyer and the Colony and Lancaster
Those are two fantastic
could
games.
match up. Do match up.
So
Could match up. I don't know.
They did.
Okay.
All those things are happening.
So first off, y'all know who I'm picking for Hebron Geyer.
Tell us who you're picking.
I'm picking Geyer.
How far do you think Geyer's going to go?
I hope Geyer.
Can they beat the Longview Zebras?
No, that's Grandview. It's a whole different.
Oh, thank you for correcting me.
It's
I'm
Grandview.
sorry.
I hope Longview is no longer mad at me.
They are. I think you were through their run-through sign this week. We're Lobos, dang it.
Ashlea Bullington, we're coming for you. I promise at state I will wear, if y'all make it to state and are playing
Clip this, mark this right here.
anything, but if y'all are playing anybody but a DFW or a Houston
Light went out.
team. Why do you do this to me?
I'm looking at the camera. You go.
If y'all play anything but a Houston team or a DFW team, I will wear a Lobo shirt just for you guys.
That like eliminates
bring-
90% of the
Please
teams they
bring
could
one
play.
with me.
Like who could they play that would be acceptable?
Austin,
Like
San Antonio,
Austin, that's it.
Waco.
Those teams don't make the state title. Longview
East Texas.
Longview
West
is an
Texas.
honorary DFW team in my heart.
Anywho, I'll wear a Lobo shirt if you guys make it to the state championship and you're not playing another DFW team
Ward,
and or a Houston team.
I'm looking at you right now. I don't want to talk about playoff matchups. I know you want us to talk about playoff matchups, but there's so many important games to talk about this week that happened this week. Let's talk about next week. Let's talk about this week. Let's talk about Keller against Keller Central. Keller Central
You get one more game.
blew
Diggs.
a 14-0 lead, and Keller won 21-14. Let's talk about Mansfield Lake Ridge against Mansfield Summit. Let's talk about how the mighty Lake Ridge Eagles defeated Mansfield Summit 35-21. I got me, Professor Diggs. I got trolled by Barstool Summit this week.
Would you like me to troll you right now?
Please do. And they sent me derogatory pictures of Barstool Summit of things that are in toilets, and it said your opinion on it. Because I picked Lake Ridge to beat Summit.
Okay.
And do you know what happened this week? Lake Ridge beat Summit. So Barstool Summit, I was right.
I think that's really funny, though.
It was kind of funny.
I think that's hilarious.
It was. How about Lake Highlands against Richardson? That was an important game. Lake Highlands defeated Richardson 27-7, therefore ending the district play possibilities in that district. And there's so much more to talk about, but I know somebody has to pay these bills. So do your transition thingy where we come back and talk about next.
So we're actually coming back to a segment with Ryan Harris right after this.
You did what?
And then that's what I did this week. Okay, you don't get to give me any lip. I run this show. We're coming back to a segment with Ryan Harris right after these messages, and then we are back with the one, the only Professor Diggs, and he will get off his pity pot right after these messages.
Don't forget to catch our extended coverage of the high school football season each week on The Warm-Up, presented by your local North Texas Geico agents. We will get you ready for all the action this Thursday on all our social media outlets.
And we are back, and this time we don't have Diggs with us. We have another special friend, an Inside High School Sports insider and the man who runs our amazing Twitter account for games, Ryan Harris. Ryan, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to have you back on with us. But we'll get into football. Last week of district play, we had some huge games across the metroplex. One happened last night as Cedar Hill and DeSoto went head-to-head, and Cedar Hill pulled out a victory by a very small margin. So what do we take from that game with Cedar Hill winning?
Yeah, what a special treat to have these two teams with such a storied rivalry with each other on the last week of the regular season. Cedar Hill and DeSoto went back and forth all night. Cedar Hill sort of held a 7-point lead, and it would be 7-14, 7-14. Duncanville, or not Duncanville, DeSoto finally cut into that lead late in the game. It was weird. Cedar Hill thought they won. They were on the field celebrating, but they put 2 seconds back on the scoreboard, giving time for DeSoto to run another play. And DeSoto found the end zone. They decided that they wanted to go for 2, try to get out of there with the win. Samurai Collier threw a slant pass, was broken up, and Cedar Hill won. But just 2 great quarterbacks put on a show. Caden Salter and Samurai Collier. Unfortunately, only one of them can come out there with a W, and Cedar Hill got the win and the district champion.
Yeah, and so that game, winner, 7-6A, District of Doom. But we had some other big matchups. The Battle of the Axe went down, Louisville versus Flower Mound Marcus. What happened in that game?
Yeah, that game just came down to the wire. Just ended not that long ago, actually. It went to overtime. Marcus had opened up about, it was a 34-23, so an 11-point lead late in the third quarter, and Louisville rallied. I mean, give them a lot of credit. They didn't give up, and the game went to overtime, tied at 42. And Marcus got out of there with a 48-42 victory in the Battle of the Axe. I'll tell you, Garrett Nussmeyer is a great quarterback for them. He, again, put on a really good show. And I think just highlighting the best games in the area this week highlighted great quarterback play. That's something that we've been very lucky to have in DFW this year.
Most definitely. I mean, we've got some of the best players in the nation here in DFW. And speaking of some of the best players in the nation, there's another game that was on your radar tonight that you were following very closely. What game was that, and what was the outcome?
I just went dark here. Yeah, I just went dark.
Oh, no.
I guess that means it's time to leave. Closing time. Yeah. So I was watching the Richland Rebels. Okay, they started 1-5, and it just looked like, well, this is a team that isn't going to make the playoffs. And I mean, that was just a few weeks ago. It was like they were off everybody's radar, and then they win a handful of games in a row. They get to 4-5. A big win over Weatherford last weekend. A crazy game, 65-62. Weatherford tried to take a game-tying field goal late in the game, and Richland blocked it. And they play tonight for a district championship against Trinity. It didn't quite go their way, but just a huge props to Richland for getting into the playoffs, finding a way in after a 1-5 start.
So you follow games really closely via our Twitter account, but you follow these games really closely. What was some of the surprises, or were there any surprises, or was there anything that kind of sums up the season for you as somebody who follows these games super closely every week?
Well, South Lake Carroll really impressed me this year. I didn't know. I knew they were going to be good. They're always good. It's the Dragons. You know, they're in the playoffs, and they normally win their district every year. But they had a sophomore quarterback in Quinn Ewers. I knew Quinn's good, but I wasn't sure he'd be this good. I thought they would lose to Denton Dyer early in the season. And South Lake came out and really put their foot down and established themselves as one of the better teams in the Metroplex. So I was really impressed with their season. They've been a team that I haven't necessarily been watching because they had a lot of, Denton Dyer was the only team that was really going to push them in district. But I've been really impressed with them this year, and they're going to be a team I'm going to keep an eye on in the playoffs. And another team I want to give a quick shout out to is the Frisco Raccoons. They've been down for a while. They lost to one district game to Denison, but they're going to end up tying for the district championship with Denton Braswell, who beat Denison tonight. So I'm going to look for them in the playoffs as well, and I hope they're able to make a deep run.
Awesome. Well, Ryan, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to have you on the fifth quarter with us. But we will be right back after these messages.
Watch Inside High School Sports to catch this week's MVP, brought to you by GiveMeTheVin.com. These MVP athletes make it look easy, just like GiveMeTheVin.com makes it easy to sell your car.
And we are back after we had a great conversation with Ryan Harris.
It was riveting. Ryan Harris, thank you for all that you do for Houston and Dallas.
He just says Dallas. His brother Matt does Houston. But thank you.
Thank you to the
on.
Harris twins.
There you go. Look at that.
I like it. Are they twins?
They are twins.
Cool. Worked out well for me there then.
But thank you for coming on with us. We are back, and Daisy just made my entire night. He said he posted a picture of me on his LinkedIn.
On my LinkedIn.
I'm so happy.
Because, I'm a college professor, so all my stuff is college-y stuff, and I wanted to be like, look what I do when I'm not doing college stuff.
I hang out with Ashlea
I
Bullington.
hang out with Ashlea Bullington on the 5th quarter, and we looked awesome. Well, she looked awesome. I looked passable.
I think you look awesome. What are you talking about?
So because I looked passable, I was like, that's going on LinkedIn, and I think I had
Was it the
37
picture-
new
was
job
it the
interviews
picture
today.
With Carmen Sandiego in the back?
It was like it was actually us at the bar.
There you go.
It was like a YouTube thing that your social media people do. And don't forget to like and subscribe all of the Inside High School Sports social medias.
Look at him. He's just plugging everything for us today.
I am trying to
You
keep
don't
my
even
job.
You don't even need me at this point in time. You're trying to take my job.
I don't want to take your job.
I plug. No, I'm kidding. You can plug. I'll just
Okay,
sit here
I'll
and.
You can
act
agree.
Like I know what I'm doing.
But let's talk. I want to plug me at Professor Diggs, and I want. I don't know why I just did that.
Well, okay.
Thank
then.
you. You can see me at Professor Diggs. As if you didn't know that already. You know.
I didn't know that.
You knew.
Where else can I see you?
Here, 5th quarter.
What about your Instagram?
I don't have an Instagram.
What about Facebook?
I do have a Facebook,
What
but that's
about the
like
Book of
that's like
Face?
private.
Oh.
Not really private.
I
Private.
turned down a lot of people from my Facebook too. Days.
Really?
Yeah. If I don't know
Like,
you, I'm not accepting.
You're
you on
not
Facebook.
accepting me.
I'll accept you.
Really?
We can be friends on Facebook.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that, but I'm not gonna do that right now. What I want to do right now is I want to talk about what happened tonight in District 9 6A. You know
What
tonight?
happened in District 9 6A?
Well,
I don't even know which teams are in District 9 6A right this second.
you don't.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, I will give you mascots, and you tell me
Ooh,
you do this.
I like this game.
Eagles, Wildcats.
Oh, okay. So 9 6A is the Prosper, Allen, Jesuit district.
Yes.
Okay.
And tonight we had Prosper absolutely destroy and manhandle the Plano Wildcats in
Saw that.
absolutely convincing fashion, 58-27. And Jackson Berry had himself a game.
Wait, isn't this the Plano district?
This is the Plano district, and now it's the Prosper Allen district because none of the Plano schools made the playoffs. So Allen Prosper district, Allen Prosper McKinney district with Jesuit.
So this is the other side of the metroplex district.
Prosper 546 total yards. Plano had 2 turnovers in that game. J.T. Lane had himself a night, 20 carries, 171 yards, 4 touchdowns. Not Garrett Nussmeier numbers, but better than I could do in a football game. Tylen Hines was back. He had good numbers, 15 carries, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, but Prosper came to work, and they took care of business, and that sets them up with what happened in the other districts and the other games. They will end up being the Division I. Prosper is like splitting up into multiple schools, and they might not even be 6A next year.
They're going to be 5A.
And now they are going. I haven't looked at that stuff. There are people who do the realignment stuff. I haven't looked at any of it at this point. I only care about high school football. Realignment. I'll look at realignment in a couple weeks. But they're going to be Division I. 2nd seed. Allen's Division I. 1 seed. And that opened up McKinney versus McKinney Boyd, and she has nothing to do with this game because it was a defensive battle. But McKinney High kicked a field goal.
10-7.
10-7.
It was lame.
That's what she says. Kicked a field goal with under 2 minutes left to win the game. Therefore, your McKinney Lions are going to the playoffs. And Jesuit defeated my Plano East Panthers 41-34. Very competitive game, but Plano East quarterback got hurt, which made it less competitive. I thought Plano East was a better team than Jesuit. Thought Plano East was a better team than Plano West. Thought Plano East was a better team than McKinney. You know what they ended up? 1-9.
You said they were a better team. So are they a better team because you're biased?
Yes,
But,
absolutely.
so that's what it is. Then.
It is.
That's
They lost. They
definitely
lost to
what
McKinney by 5. Lost to Plano West by 3. Lost to Jesuit by 7.
it is.
Beat
Jesuits-
McKinney Boyd.
So I have a hot take.
Give me your hot take.
Jesuit is not going to make it into make it any farther past the first round because they have no more EJ Smith.
Okay, I think you're wrong about that. I think they will beat Lakeview Centennial next week.
I think Lakeview Centennial with that running back,
Lakeview
Kamar Wheaton-
Centennial got steamrolled this week by Naaman Forest.
Naaman Forest is just
Naaman
they're on
Forest
the
got
uprise.
steamrolled by McKinney Boyd earlier this year.
Well, I'm calling it. Jesuit
you
loses.
call it, but you're going to be wrong.
I-
Next week, you will apologize to our friends in the Catholic faith
I do not apologize.
when Jesuit beats Lakeview Centennial. You will apologize.
I'm wearing red lipstick. I do not apologize.
So a big game. You still have it up? Do you have Rowlett
did I
versus
ever-
Saxy up?
I do have Rowlett.
Tell us
versus
about what
Saxy.
happened in that game.
Saxy beat Rowlett 42-40. There's some big numbers in this
Big
one as
numbers.
Rowlett had 411 total yards. Saxy, the Mustangs, had 365.
How about Trey Carr? How about Sean Coleman? How about Xavier Foreman? Tell
They
us.
all played well. Trey Carr had 19 completions and 2 touchdowns, as well as a rushing touchdown, 77 more yards to add to that.
He had a
Xavier
great game.
Foreman had
Trey
2 rushing touchdowns, and Sean Coleman had 3 rushing touchdowns. It doesn't look like they play through Saxy plays through the air very much.
No, they like to run the ball, and that's just the Saxy way. I think they will be running right out of the first round when they play Allen this week at the Eagle Stadium, where Allen never loses.
Ever.
But
Not even a question.
tough for Saxy. And then Prosper will be taking on Wiley.
The
McKinney
Coyote?
will be taking on Naaman Forest, not the Coyote, and Jesuit will be
You know
taking
you got a
Lakeview
little kick out of
Centennial.
that.
How is it that McKinney and Naaman Forest even make the playoffs, and now they're playing each other in the first round of the playoffs? One of those two teams are making it to the second round, and then we have to play Jesuit after that.
You want to know another hot take?
Give me another hot take.
The Colony wins against Lancaster.
I'd like to apologize to hashtag TXHSFB for Ashley is just here to stir it up,
I like
to shake
stirring
some
the
salt
pot.
on the fire, and then she'll just run away when she's proven wrong next week
Can
with
I-
no apologies,
Can I do some
because
gaslighting?
apparently she wears red lipstick,
Just
and that
today.
makes her immune to apologies.
I mean, have
She's
you ever
wrong.
heard that?
I appreciate you offering hot takes. I do.
I'll give you all the hot takes. Let's do this.
Give me another hot take.
I just need you to give me more people to list.
I'll debunk all your hot takes.
Just start listing some things off for me, and I'll give you some hot takes.
How about Tyler Lee versus Mesquite Horn? Tyler Lee with a big win over Mesquite Horn, and therefore punching their ticket into the playoffs. 2 East Texas teams in 12-6A or 11-6A making the playoffs. What do you think about that?
Well, you said the 11-6A district is the new district of doom, so I think that's great. Tyler Lee is gonna win.
Do you know what Tyler Lee's mascot is?
No.
Silence here on the 5th quarter.
No, I do not.
It is the same mascot as Texas Tech.
Ew, the Red Raider.
Red Raiders.
Sorry, very sorry.
Let's move to 5A. Can we talk some 5A
I
football?
like 5A football. Shadow Creek.
Do you know how Azle did this week?
I will not discuss them.
They were off.
I will not discuss them.
They didn't win.
You literally went to the one place you knew I would not discuss.
But how about Granbury and Saginaw?
There we go. We can talk Granbury. The Pirates are
Yes,
matey.
They got their butts whooped tonight.
Wow. Why are you just you're trying to put holes in my heart?
I
right now.
know.
Is it the
Saginaw
red lipstick
won
comment?
17-0. I'm intimidated by the red lipstick.
I've got a red. I'm red. I'm trying a new look
I
this
am
week.
intimidated.
I'm okay with it.
Good big win for Saginaw. So what that means is Saginaw gets to avoid Denton Ryan. Now Granbury gets Denton Ryan in the first round. How do you think that's going to work for Saginaw or for Granbury
I'm really sorry,
against
guys.
Denton Ryan?
Denton Ryan's gonna wipe the floor. Always
And
pirate booty.
I
You know like the treasure chest.
I
That's
just
their
can't.
booty.
I know what it is. One of my wife's favorite casino games is Shake Your Booty, which is like they got pirates dancing and slot
that's fun.
machines. Yeah. She's won some money on that too.
I like roulette.
Don't gamble, kids. It's bad for you.
I really like roulette, guys. I've got a problem with gambling when I get on a roulette table.
Last night, a game you will definitely see on Wingstop Inside High School Sports. Denton Ryan and Birdville. Denton Ryan took the whooping stick to Birdville, 41 to 14.
Denton Ryan is on another level.
Denton Ryan is good,
I want
but
to see them play some really difficult.
would you like a hot take from me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll do a hot take. I'm going to look in the camera right here. I've given this hot take on Twitter several times in the past. And Denton Ryan is a fantastic football team. But Denton Ryan only beats the teams they're supposed to beat. When's the last time Denton Ryan has won a game that they were not favorited or was even a 50-50 game? It's been years. I don't know if Coach Hennigan in his career there has won a game that was a 50-50 game or a game that they weren't supposed to win.
Wait, do you want to hear my hot take now?
Sure.
Denton Ryan beats Highland Park.
Here's my hot take. Highland Park won't even get there.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like
Thank
that
you.
one. I wouldn't be surprised if Highland Park doesn't get there.
Well, Frisco Lone Star and Lancaster, although you think the Colony is going to beat Lancaster this
The
week.
Colony's going to beat Lancaster.
I-
Mikey Harrington.
The problem with Highland Park is they've played 4 good teams this year, in my opinion. And you can kind of get into scuttlebutt of what's a good team. But Rockwall, and who's Rockwall's star? Because we haven't said his name yet.
Jackson Smith and Njigba.
We have to say him even though Rockwall's off this week. They've played Rockwall, they've played Lone Star, they've played Lancaster, and they've played Timberview, and they've had 13 turnovers in those 4 games. You cannot do that and be a successful team in the playoffs. You just cannot do
You
that.
cannot.
It's hard, it's easy for me to say that, all this stuff and all these factors, and Highland Park has won 3 straight state championships. Randy Allen, all he does is know how to win, and he gets into the bag of tricks and does mojo-y kind of things. I mean, he comes from Brownwood, so he knows how to win football games from the Gordon Wood tradition, but I don't think Highland Park's going to make it. Easy for me to say.
I'm calling
Highland
the
Park.
Shadow Creek Frisco Lone Star this year.
You know what Shadow Creek's mascot is?
The Sharks.
The Sharks.
You know how many games
Are
Shadow
they
Creek?
baby
Wait.
sharks?
No, they are right now daddy sharks. Do you know how many games Shadow Creek's lost in their history of football?
1.
Yeah.
Against
Highland Park.
Highland Park. Let's talk about District 5-5A. And there was big happenings. And in fact, I'm gonna give you a chance to talk about the big happening. Why don't you look up Frisco Wakeland versus Frisco Liberty? But first, I want to talk about Frisco Lone Star just absolutely destroying Frisco Heritage. And Frisco Lone Star is just scary good. Frisco Independence had a nice win over Frisco Centennial. And
Liberty v. Wakeland.
I know.
What?
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 Frisco Liberty wins their first game in 2 years or 3. They have a losing streak just like Plano West did, and now their losing streak is gone too. And Frisco, I got to watch a little of this game, Frisco Liberty against Frisco Wakeland, and Wakeland was they're starting to drive to take the lead, and pick 6, scoops, some interception or some turnover for a score. Congratulations to the Liberty Redhawks.
Which Wakeland there for a while was a solid team.
Well, they're a solid team. They're making the playoffs, but they get Highland Park in the first round.
So was it one of those games where maybe they just didn't start all their starters or something?
It's hard to know, but I don't want to say all that. I want to say they played as hard as they could, and Frisco Liberty
good job.
just
Way to
did
go.
Liberty things. Timberview gave Highland Park. We talked about turnovers and Highland Park issues. Highland Park 21-21 at some point before Highland Park finally pulled away in that game. I think it was 43-21 final. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes. So Highland Park, again, I'm a little worried about that. 3rd round, Thanksgiving football. If both Lone Star and Highland Park continue to win, we will see Frisco Lone Star versus Highland Park. Now, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
We know Highland Park likes to play in the Star. We know that's Frisco Lone Star's home field. Should Highland Park go to the Star, or should they take them away from that?
So I know it's home field, but I technically don't consider it home field. And I know that's like weird to say, but if it's not at your state, at your high school, and you're the only team that plays there, can you really consider it home field advantage? To me, that's more of a neutral site.
And I think Highland Park will be using that logic to get that game there, and I hope it is there at the Star. I'd love to see it.
I'd like to go to the Star as much as humanly possible. So
let's talk about 7-5A. 3 games that mattered quite a bit. We have McKinney North just whooping Mesquite Petite. And if you want to look at stats, you pull that game up while I talk about the other 2 games. Big upset in District 7-5A, but it was one of those upsets that just wasn't enough. Sherman needed to beat John Tyler by 10, 11, something like that, some double-digit number. They beat them, but only by 5. So imagine that. How would you feel? Like, let's say you're in a soccer league, and like
we don't score that many points.
I know, but let's say like one of the overall.
That's why I like big
overall
numbers, you know that,
tiebreaker.
right?
I know. One of the overall tiebreakers is total goal scored. Let's say it. Just go with this. I'm making stuff up. And you were one total goal. You won the game. You won your last game, but you needed 3 goals and you only got 2 goals. How would you feel as a soccer player?
I would feel very disappointed in my offense. Very, very.
Even though you won, like would you not just feel like this sense of?
I would feel deflated.
Deflation.
Regardless.
I'm going to go look on Twitter tonight to see if there's like footage, because it's one of those crazy things. I've seen it a couple of times in covering a game where you see a team that just lost rush the field and like, woo, we lost, but you lost by 5. Yes, we're going to the playoffs. And the team that won is like crying on the sidelines.
So I never had that problem when I was in high school.
You didn't cry?
No,
Devoid of emotion?
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
I was pretty dang good.
She likes zombie shows where people kill each other.
I like True Blood. Oh, I'm actually watching.
Moved to Dexter now?
I've already watched all 8 seasons.
I didn't watch Dexter, but I read that it had the worst final season.
Oh my
ever.
gosh, it was terrible.
And I don't even watch Dexter to know that.
It was one of the worst finales / final seasons I've ever seen in my entire
Texas
life.
High gave West Mesquite a horrible final season, beating West Mesquite. Now tell us about McKinney North.
Well, McKinney North did McKinney North things. They had 647 total yards and a 63-21 win over Mesquite Petite. First off, Seth McGowan did not play. I don't see him anywhere on here.
That means he didn't play.
Seth McGowan did not play.
But
He
could be healthy, a healthy scratch, getting ready for playoffs.
But
I don't know.
Dylan Markowitz
He did play.
had 4 touchdowns for the night for 426 yards.
So
he is up for a postseason award, by the way.
and he'll probably be in the GiveMeTheVin.com MVP something or another. I got at least
might
added
be
MVP
winning
to
him
it.
a bobblehead at some point.
But I think he should be on the.
He's in the postseason awards.
But what about? Are you not having a bobblehead next week?
We are, but
So could he not be nominated for that?
he could be nominated for it. But he's definitely in the postseason awards.
Nussmeyer against Markowitz. I
We got
love
one
those
more,
last
too.
names. We'll work on
I
it.
have to say these last names. Please be careful.
Markowitz?
Markowitz, Nussemeyer.
Nussmeyer.
And then Emmanuel Fincher
We like
had
Emmanuel Fincher.
another 2 rushing touchdowns. So did Jaden Smith. J.J. Henry. I wonder if he's related to the other J.J. Henry.
No.
The golfer. And this name
I
J.J.
don't
Henry?
box. Or golf.
Golf. There's
I
a
do box a
J.J.
little bit.
Henry that used to go to TCU that's a golfer.
I did not know that.
I think it's J.J. Henry. I'm going to have to look that up now. But I'm pretty sure
Look
it's
it
J.J.
up.
Henry. But J.J. Henry had 2 of those receiving touchdowns. So did Brandon Frazier. But a big night from the Bulldogs.
I wish we had stats for this game, but we don't. But I picked.
I was going to say, wait, I have stats right here.
You have stats for that, but I'm moving on because we only have so much time left before you start counting us down and
I don't even know
yelling
how much
at
time
me.
we've been on.
Small School Diggsy got cut off last week. I got
Actually, Small School Dixie cut himself off.
mentally psyched out about the clock that was on the board. Burleson beat Cleburne 77-50. I wish we had stats for that.
I got another hot take for you.
Give me a hot take.
Denton Braswell
Tell me about Denton Braswell.
goes 2 rounds. At
Who
least.
they lose to?
I don't know who all they play.
Do you know who they're going to lose to?
I don't know who they play. Who do they play?
Denton Braswell will probably play a team like Corsicana in the first round. And then they will probably play a team like Toledo in the second
Gosh
round.
darn it, they're going 2 rounds. And
Or
that's
Red
it,
Oak or
'cause
South Oak Cliff.
As long as they don't play Alito. If they play Red Oak or South Oak Cliff, I'm
I
taking
don't have
Denton
brackets
Braswell.
in front of me.
We don't have brackets yet, guys.
Well, we do have brackets, and you can find them on our social media pages at InsideHighSchoolSports.com.
It's at highschoolsports.tv.
.tv.com.
Good try.
Can't do that. But Alito, did you see that Jace McClellan was back this week?
Jace McClellan.
Scoring touchdowns on
He
Arlington
was
Seguin.
our recruiting trail today, too.
And what did he say? Say anything of note? Is he still committed to OU, or did he
He's
break some news?
technically still committed to OU as of right now.
Oh.
He was shopping his options last time I talked to him.
Are you allowed to shop your options if you're going to OU? Can they not just kick him to the curb and say, you're not 100% committed?
Would you kick Jace McClellan to the curb?
No, but
That's like
know,
kicking Jonathan Gray back in the day to the curb.
Alito's got good running backs.
Alito does have good running backs. No, so he's shopping his options, but still technically committed to OU. And the only other thing of note that he said 4 times was Alito's going to win a state championship. That's about it.
And you can see the recruiting trail on at
IHS.
Bullington.
No,
Zoo.
no,
You
no.
didn't tweet it yourself?
No.
I thought that was all on your page.
I retweeted. No, you just saw.
I saw your retweet.
You saw me like it. I
Oh.
liked it today.
Well, if you
I wasn't on
know
it.
how to view her likes and the things she likes, you probably actually don't want to go down that trail, if we're being honest. So go to at IHSS_DFW.
There
Check
you go,
out the
Diggsy.
recruiting
There
trail.
you go, Diggsy.
And Denton
11
Braswell,
weeks, and I've trained him.
the team that she said she thought would go 2 rounds deep, which, considering they had never made the playoffs before, is a huge accomplishment for the Bengals. They beat Denison 47-18, and via Frisco Reedy beating Princeton, our friends at Frisco Reedy, in the playoffs.
Woo!
Congratulations.
I saw
to
Will
them.
Harbor had a touchdown.
Will I am?
No,
Drop
Will
the
Harbor.
beat now.
Will Harbor had a touchdown. An offensive lineman.
Not the Black Eyed Peas.
We're not doing that tonight.
So congratulations, Will Harbor. You, sir, are
Number 74 had a touchdown.
you are the offensive lineman of the week
Yeah, we'll take
for the
that.
5th quarter.
He actually got like smacked going into it, and the kid that hit him like bounced back a little bit. It was kind of funny.
Did you see that, like, doing highlights with people?
Joseph Hoyt. Is that it?
Oh, Joseph Hoyt,
He
our
posted it.
friend Joseph Hoyt.
I like Joseph Hoyt.
Joseph Hoyt wrote a really good article this week about the murdered player in Mesquite from a couple of years ago. It really pulled on my heartstrings. I liked it.
Why are you trying to bring down the happiness
Well,
level
because
right now?
it's a story. It's a horrible story when you have a police officer shoot a kid. That's a horrible story as it is. But then just the uplifting ending of it with the fact that they still honor him. He was going to be honored at senior night tonight, and they view him as part of the team. It ended, even though it was a
You're
complete
gonna make me
tragedy.
cry, Joseph.
He ended it happy. So that's the kind of heartstrings that Joe Hoyt can tug on. He can tell a story, and he can bring it back to good.
Thanks, Joe, for all you do.
What can you say about that? I like Joe Hoyt.
I like Joe too.
He's from Oregon.
I know.
Beautiful.
I
country
talked to
out
him when
there.
he first started moving. When he first moved down here, we met during basketball season last year.
What game? Remember?
Denton Geyer.
Of course, Denton Geyer. You are. Do you go to any place else other than Denton
It
Geyer?
was Denton Geyer, Duncanville. That's what it was.
Well, that's a good game.
It was
Even
very
in
good.
basketball.
It was very, very
I know enough to know that Duncanville plays good basketball too.
good. Duncanville played bomb
did
basketball last year.
Yeah.
Why are you leaving me during basketball season? Can
Oh,
I make you a
I
basketball
don't do
person
basketball.
too? Can we make you a basketball
Is
person?
Plano East good at basketball?
I don't know.
I think so.
I don't think it's Plano
I think
East
we're good at
at
girls
anything.
basketball.
They are very good at girls
Yes.
basketball.
They have a
Very
new
good
head
at girls
coach from
basketball.
DeSoto, I think.
So you get like 2 more minutes, and we gotta tie this up because I can only stream 50 or I can only stream 60 minutes. Okay. Well, that's all we have for me and Diggsy. When we come back, we'll be with the Wizard.
What's the Wizard going to talk about? What are you going to ask him about?
We're going to talk about the battle for the Beltline. We're going to see some highlights from that, and then talk about what his sleeper pick is.
Okay.
I think he's liking some Naaman Forest right now.
When we come back to the fifth quarter here on Inside High School Sports.
The Inside Story is driven by your North Texas Honda dealers. Right now, they can help you get great deals on award-winning Hondas. It's their job to be helpful, so stop by your local helpful Honda dealer today.
And we are with the one, the only, the Wizard.
What's happening? Y'all ready for the playoffs?
It's playoff time.
Playoff time.
Wiz. Playoffs.
Now listen, my scrubby monitors went down because it must be playoff time. So that's very upsetting. We're going to have to use the little baby monitor.
Okay, we're going to use the
So
baby
I know
monitor.
you and Diggs
guy.
talked about this Cedar Hill DeSoto game.
Sorry.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? And this is the end of the game. So they just got another shot at it. And Collier hits Arnold for the touchdown. And you'd think, because they got gifted a little penalty there at the end, that they'd go for the extra point because they got a gift. But no, they're going for the win. Got knocked down by Cedar Hill. That's why Cedar Hill had won the battle for Beltline. They won the district title. They went undefeated in district.
7-6-8, the District of Doom.
Exactly. And they were going to get their little rematch with Richardson Pierce next week. Because remember, Richardson Pierce upset them and had all the Cedar Hill fans wondering what the heck was going on.
That was a tough one last year for Cedar Hill.
Exactly. And DeSoto's going to be playing Skyline, so that's going to be a nice little matchup as well.
Oh, good. They both skipped Duncanville.
They did.
They both skipped
They both.
Duncanville.
Heck, Cedar Hill made sure they skipped them completely because they went to a different division. But you know what's going to be good for Cedar Hill is they're going to have a rematch with Pierce from last year. And then if they win that one, which they should, they're going to have a rematch with Geyer from earlier this year, which was one of our best games of the year.
Well,
so it's going to be some sweet stuff
y'all
going
know
on
who I'm
6A
cheering for. I'm
Division
sorry.
2. Yes, you've already made it.
I've made it very clear who I'm cheering for this postseason.
Everybody knows that. We're going to have on the show some small school action, man. We went to Hillsboro this week.
Oh, hey, that's my neck of the woods.
And when I say we, I mean just me and nobody else.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gas mileage.
Wasn't that Godly
Gas
Hillsboro?
mileage. You know they shut down all those daggone outlet malls down there?
Yes.
The only one that's still open is like Nike.
Bath and Body Works.
Yeah, Bath and Body Works.
That's where I go shopping.
It's a very sad sight. Let's not bring that up because I know
You
everybody
brought it
used
up.
to. I know I did.
I was like, wait,
You
you
don't
brought it
continue
up.
it. So Godley won with this new quarterback. They got Ethan McBrayer. He's a junior, and he's got 28 touchdowns already. They fell behind, but they came all the way back, and they found a way. Oops, don't worry about that. Late
and
night
Diggs.
calls. You
You
know
and
how I do
Diggs.
it. You know how I
The
do it.
late nights back. No, I'm
And
kidding.
on the show, we're going to have our flashback, which is going to be, we're going to flashback to Superman, the Man of Steel, otherwise known as Rex Burkhead. They gave him that nickname his junior year when he just started dominating everything. Our story for this week is what? Do you remember? It's the
Bruckermeyer boys.
Twins.
Bruckermeyers.
So you'll like that story. And what I got most out of this week is, how about Naaman Forest? 0-5. They started off. They lost all their non-district games. One of their district games started off 0-5. Then they went 4-1 down the stretch and ended up going 4-6. They got a playoff spot. They miraculously got a playoff spot. So, and this is first
good
year
job,
coach
Naaman Forest.
Jesse Perils, Jesse Perils was from the Valley down in San Antonio way, and he wanted to come up here because they said the best football was up here at DFW.
Because it is.
He came up here, got beat up a little bit for the first 5 games, but he got this team into the playoffs, and that's
Good job, Coach.
very impressive.
Good job, Coach.
So 6:30.
Maybe he'll be in our Coach of the Year.
We'll have to put him in the mix there. see
Maybe
what's
he'll be in
going
our
on.
mix there.
Especially if they upset their first round opponent.
Who is
Who will
that?
either be Jesuit or McKinney. I haven't figured out which one yet. I think there's some tiebreakers or something going on.
Well,
We'll find out for tomorrow at 6:30.
well, Wiz,
Yes,
it's been a good run so far, hasn't
it
it?
has been a good run. We got
It
6 more
has.
weeks of playoffs.
6 more weeks.
And then hoops. There it is.
Whoop,
Hoops.
there.
There it is.
Okay, we're done
I'm
now.
sorry.
It's officially late.
Good Lord. Let's shut it
Officially
down.
late. Okay, well, I'm Ashlea Bullington. He is the Wizard. Watch all the highlights tomorrow on NBC5 at 6:30 p.m. on Wingstop Inside High School Sports, hosted by the one, the only Pat Doney.
Hat trick, Patrick.
But we'll see you next week for all the playoff action
First round.
on the fifth quarter.
Quarter is it?
Thank you for watching.
Good.
Bye.